This week, the Adirondacks and much of New York dodged a bullet when, after drenching New Jersey with up to a foot of rain, Tropical Storm Henri fizzled out over the Catskills, sparing much of the rest of New York and rivers like the Ausable here in Keysville from heavy rain and potential flooding. This river today looks a lot different than it did 10 years ago this week, when another tropical storm, Irene, dumped several inches of rain within a few short hours, sending a raging Ausable River to record flood levels and leaving behind a major disaster and millions in damage. This week, we're going to take you back and show you the story our Jack LaDuke did on September 1st, 2011, on the destruction in Adirondack communities ravaged by Irene's wrath.
By daylight, residents of this tiny Essex County community got their first full look at the destruction that the tropical flash storm had done. It was more than anyone could believe. Homes were wrecked, roads gouged out, and the raging Gulf Brook had ripped off part of the town's fire station, sending it disappearing into the raging water. Torrential rains turned the peaceful stream into a crushing ribbon of havoc that roared down the side of Hurricane Mountain, ravaging everything in front of it as it roared through the village of Keene, leaving residents in shock and disbelief.
I just have a town of people who are just walking around, they're lost. You know, they just cannot believe the devastation that this river and this brook has done to us. Roads, I don't believe we have a road in the town of Keene that's passable. We're working diligently now to try to get them passable so that folks can get back into their homes to assess their damages.
The storm, when it started, the river came up real slow, and at first we thought, we knew we were going to get flooding, but then all of a sudden the water levels rose very quickly, and that's when, all the damage started occurring. It started lifting up sheds and knocking over garages.
The angry water found its way into most downtown homes and businesses, leaving residents scrambling to pump out basements and save property. The devastating sights that the storm left behind will remain with many here, but so too will the unforgettable sounds coming from the brook that had churned out of control.
It was like a 747 taking off constantly for hours and hours and hours. It was amazing. My dogs were cowering, terrified. Never seen or heard anything like it. The economy in these towns is so marginal anyhow that something like this is devastating economically for a long period. It's going to be years before they recover from this.
Jim Furlick lives near the Gulf Brook. Sunday night, he grabbed his video camera and began filming the rising water that smashed against the fire station. Sean Baird owns the Tippecanoe restaurant and is eager to get back into business after being flooded, something that may not be easy to do.
When people can't come through and, there's roads passable, there's definitely affects the tourist trade because 90% of the tourist trade around here have cabins up in the woods and stuff. So, if they only have a limited amount of where they can go, they can't spend the money.
But small towns like this are resilient and quickly help one another.
And so we just picked up all the photos and we're going to go to my house and lay them out and hope we can salvage some of her pictures. Everything else she owns is a total loss.
Another example of neighborly help took place only a few miles down the road in Keene Valley, where the local hardware store was badly flooded. When the community heard about the sad situation, 40 to 50 volunteers showed up and helped clean the mud away and dry off items from inside the store.
Hurricane Irene came through town and went through our store, devastated inside. We lost a lot of merchandise, no flood insurance.
Next weekend is Labor Day, and for many Adirondack businesses, it is their last hurrah for the season. But Hurricane Irene has changed hurrah into horror for many here. Town officials are contacting state and federal governments in hopes of getting financial help that they say will run into the millions of dollars, far more than any North Country community can afford. To speed up the recovery process, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has eased up on Adirondack Park Agency regulations, allowing badly needed repairs to roads and homes to begin right away. For Mountain Lake Journal, I'm Jack LaDuke in Essex County.